up, Beatles fans? So today is my first vlog of February, so happy February to everybody. So today, my topic about the Beatles is I'm talking about the bands that inspired the Beatles and the bands the Beatles were inspired by. And I'm going to name a few. And I'd like you guys to tell me your favorite band or artist that was inspired by the Beatles. Now, the Beatles were very, very big fans of Elvis Presley. And they were also big fans of Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry and Carl Perkins. And Paul McCartney actually met Carl Perkins and did a song with him called My Old Friend, and there's a whole story behind that song, and I'll put that down in the description. And if you listen to the early Beatles songs, a lot of them consist of them covering songs by people they were inspired by. Especially if you have the record, or it's on CD, whatever, which one you have. The one live at the BBC. Paul McCartney would sing songs by like Elvis. He'd do That's Alright Mama. You know, he'd do the That's Alright Mama song. Yeah, and they like Ray Charles, and you hear John Lennon sing I've Got a Woman Way Across Town. Yeah, you could hear George Harrison sing a few, Buddy Holly songs on there. All of them love Buddy Holly. If you got some of the Beatles records, especially the early Beatles records, they would cover songs by like, Words of Love was a Buddy Holly song, and some on the Beatles for Sale album they covered Words of Love. Or Matchbox, which is a Carl Perkins song. Ringo Starr does a version of it. And so those artists kind of inspired the Beatles to get on the music scene in the first place. Then after that, once they were there and they were releasing things, artists were actually inspired by them because they brought a new sound, new look, and everything. Some artists in the 60s that were inspired by the Beatles were Herman's Hermits, the Rolling Stones, and even the Mamas and the Papas a little bit. In the 70s, we got Badfinger, of course, which I made a vlog about a while ago. And like even nowadays, there are artists who were inspired by the Beatles, like Oasis and Green Day. I know this is a lot of people say this, and I agree with this completely. The music nowadays, if it wasn't for the Beatles getting on the scene in the 60s, it would not sound like it does now. Even like artists on YouTube nowadays, like Alex Day, he's a big Beatles fan. You should check him out. He deleted off his account, but you can still find it. He did a cover of All My Lovin', which is a popular Beatles song. And Chad Sugg, I believe, he's a YouTube vlogger with Luke Conrad and all of them, and he did a version of Here Comes the Sun. And so artists today are still being inspired by what the Beatles did for half a century ago. So the answer to last week's trivia question, my question was, which Beatle is the tallest Beatle, and how tall was George Harrison? So, congratulations to Pink Sunshine 121 for getting both questions correct. The first question being, how tall is George Harrison? He was 5 feet 10 inches. And who is the tallest Beatle? And the answer is Paul McCartney, being 5 feet 11 inches. So my question for this week is, how many takes was Lady Madonna recorded in? And I wanted to thank you all for the comments last week on my video, and I really appreciate them. They made my day. So I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye!